So we're doing a stream here. This is like a tentative situational awareness stream, and we're going to discuss what's going on. Okay, this is going to be pretty brief, and we're going to discuss it again tonight at some point, and it's going to be late again. It's going to be like 9 o'clock probably, or thereabouts, when we do the second stream to this. So this is the situation, if you're not aware. So there have been a series of executive orders that have been issued by Trump since COVID-19 started. They were fishy, but nobody could really understand where it was exactly going. These, in conjunction with the House resolutions, have painted a picture of where this whole thing's going. So let me get you up to speed on the current executive orders that are, already in effect. So the first one that you should understand, we'll put this out there first before we go into the other two, because this one's related to what they call bulk power systems. So the bulk power systems executive order is EO 13920, and that came out on May 1st, the beginning of this month. And it has a narrative. Basically, if you're not familiar with executive orders, it has a narrative that is like the public record of why the order is taking place and all of its provisions and who are the delegated parties to handle the EO, right? So this one, the bulk power executive order, is under, that's going to be under the National Defense Secretary, the emergency services, and oh no, I'm sorry, what the fuck am I talking about? This is going to be under the Secretary of Energy, under the Department of Energy. It's going to be under these, as far as I know, these have divided authority, like equal and divided authority. So you've got the DOE Secretary, the Secretary of Energy, which would interface with DOE. You've got the DHS and the DNI, which is the Director of National Intelligence. And that would be like all your spooks and stuff. So that's like, that's like pretty high level, is DNI. And what it entails is they're doing a program to, they're putting importation and purchasing restriction on electrical equipment, both from the origin, the point of origin, which would be China, and on the, like it has different classes depending on it has like a threshold of like how much power we're talking about. But it mostly has to do with, interconnected electrical systems. And so it's two parts. It's not only like a prohibition on new purchases, so like any pending purchases as of the EO are going to get, canceled and worked out of the system, and they're going to be replaced. And then there's going to be a replacement of power equipment at bulk power stations around the United States to replace components that are already there. And so this is where things start to get illuminated and become fishy, because you basically have a situation where you have you have like the DNI working in coordination with a bunch of peripheral agencies, like the let's see, it's all getting done. They created a task force on it's a task force on federal energy infrastructure procurement policies. That's what it's called. And that is consists of a board with the chair of the Secretary of Energy. And then you have on the board, you've got the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Interior, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of DHS, the Director of OMB. So there's a lot of people on there, and they're going to be setting up the exact provisions, and they have 1 year till technically it's 1 year to deliver the recommendations. It's going to be way faster than that. So this isn't like 1 year is pretty short anyway, but they're not going to take a year. This is going to be a pretty quick thing. Like, they're not going to have any resistance or anything. So they're just going to push whatever they're doing through. There's a really good possibility that they're switching out equipment in order to create vulnerability in the power infrastructure of the United States. Of course, all this shit is like completely protected and secret in terms of like going to power stations, so the public doesn't have any way to investigate and figure out what the fuck is going on. We just have to take their word for it, and this is like, once you combine all these things, it paints a picture of like shit's going to get fucked with. Like, it's most likely, logically, because it involves China already in the prohibition and procurement, and because of the situation with China and what we know is inevitably going to take place, it's very likely that they're installing equipment that can be, that has vulnerable weaknesses to be attacked remotely and cause like a catastrophic failure. And in the language of this EO, they use a lot of keywords that are like buzzwords, and they kind of almost paint the picture of what they want, like what this is about. And the words include everything from like sabotage, subversion, catastrophic infrastructure failure, foreign enemy states, like probably a parallel to exactly what they're going to say when they do it. Like when it happens, they're just gonna, but who knows what's actually gonna happen, right? But it's no good. Like this is not a good thing. So that's the first one, right? That's the part about electricity. The other two executive orders there's two of them. There's Executive Order 13919, and then there's Executive Order 13912. And those are both, the 919, that is to pull up military in support of an operation called Enhanced DoD Counter Narcotics in the Western Hemisphere. That's like the op name. And it's like a huge program apparently, but it's really ominous because this happened right before the past 24 hours of Trump announcing that he's going to mobilize the military to send out vaccines for coronavirus. And so the vaccine that they're sending out is, obviously not FDA. I mean, as if that fucking mattered, like as if you can fucking trust the FDA in the first place. But point being that this is extremely unusual, and it's never been done before. So it's almost like they're violating their own stupid rules that they put in place just to push this thing through, and that's what the media is working really hard to cause hysteria so that people support it no matter what. The other executive order is authority to recall inactive ready reserve. That's EO 13912. And that's it's IRR, it's also select reserve, and it's also National Guard. And that operation is that executive order is under the delegation of the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of Homeland Security. So they're like the top executors of that mission, that whatever they're doing, which is obviously related to this COVID-19 thing. They have, so for the first one, they're getting like automatically they're getting 1 year. So they get like 1 year of authorization to use active duty. For the second one, the 912, that's 2 years, so 24 months, and they have a personnel cap of 1 million people. Okay, then you have this these budgets coming out, and to supply the coordinated CDC program for serosurveillance prevalence tests, which are antibody tests, which don't actually detect COVID-19. They are testing antibody reaction to exposure to viruses. It's also a great way to gather genetic material and to get the United States used to the new lockstep top-down orders, where like the government just interferes in commerce and social order and disrupts it, and gets us to play go fetch as a country. And we're really good at it right now. Like at this point, there's a little bit of resistance, but I don't think people understand how serious this is. Like what's going on right now, once this goes through, besides the possible threat of like an engineered virus or DNA like bioweapons, aside from that, just following this shit is going to set a public precedent. And once this starts, this is not going to stop. Like this is not going to go away with COVID-19. This is going to be like permanent. and they're having huge success because this is worldwide. If you didn't know that, so there's equivalents in every single country. So I'm still working on a plan. I think the best way to handle this is to have a large and highly visible, impossible to miss demonstration that directly nips this in the bud. Are we going to nip it in the bud? No. But the purpose of it is to make a giant fucking sign that nobody can possibly miss, so that they have to acknowledge that, the opposition to this exists, and that, it's a big deal. And so that's the general goal here of what we're going to try to work out. And it's this: if we do a nationwide demonstration, and then we can either do it nationwide, or we can isolate to an area. We can go to DC. We can go to a lot of places, but it's going to require time, and it's going to require people, and it's going to require a pooling of money, and it's going to require to have an effective message, which is the most important. It's going to require, we're going to have to make a fucking Task Force America, okay? And let's see. Why don't you put in these comments, or if you want, you can email me at Doug Z, that's DUGZ, at tudenoda.com. And that's an email that I set up specifically for this project, and I'm the only one that's looking at those emails. So if you keep them like short and sweet, and don't send an email there saying like, hi, how's it going? Only respond to that if you're available, and know that you're going to be available in the next 2 months to work on setting up this demonstration. If we can't get enough people or enough money pooled, then we can't do it, obviously. So this is totally tentative on the willingness to participate and how much time you can make to do this, okay? I'm going to be working on music to try to coincide with this if possible. It is pretty challenging, and I don't have a lot of time. That's my major challenge, is that I don't have a ton of time to work on music, but I'm going to try to make that a priority, and that might take over some stream time. But you guys can talk amongst yourselves and figure out, get a feel for like how willing you are to do this. And of course, this would be like a totally nonviolent and disruptive demonstration, using our brains, using cleverness. And if we actually pull it off, it's going to be really clever. Like, we're not going to do the dumb version that people usually do. This shit is going to be like impossible to miss. So, kind of coordinate with each other and see if you guys are into that, and if it's something that we can actually pull off. You can send an email if you want to volunteer, and you're like, I'm down, I don't give a shit when it is, like, I'll make time. Send me an email to dougz@tudenoda.com, dougz@tudenoda.com, and we'll have a stream tonight to go over some finer points, assuming that I don't have a catastrophic job here in the next few hours, and I'll try to roll this over my brain to kind of flesh out what this whole thing looks like. All right, have fun. I love you.